rewards for justice money, which is $50 million. He was all excited, but then he said twice, he said, I cannot ask permission from Leon Panetta to work with you to get bin Laden out of Iran, but I can ask my good friend Leon Panetta if he has any objections. You're still there, sir?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah. And so he spoke to Leon Panetta on 2 occasions. We got it back in writing and verbally that Leon Panetta told him, focus on North Korea only. And in the second conversation, he said, do not pursue bin Laden in Iran. Now,
I'm sure of that.
Yeah. Now, I have had daily discussions and negotiations with the highest level of the Iranian government. It's been supervised by my attorney so that I'm not breaking the federal laws on subverting the policies of the U.S. State Department. I have had 88 pages of correspondence translated and delivered directly to President Ahmadinejad. In this correspondence, I am analyzing and discussing 6 scenarios for bin Laden's transfer to U.S. custody. I'm discussing 5 concessions from the United States and analyzing them. We have proof that Ahmadinejad has received the material. There is one man at the United Nations who's been designated in the Iranian mission to the UN to deal with me exclusively. I'm putting together a bipartisan coalition to go to Iran to discuss bin Laden's transfer to the United States.
Well, you'll never have that happen because our government won't let that happen.
You were very astute. Yesterday I had a conference call with Senator Susan Collins' people, and it included Brandon Milhorn, who's on the Senate Homeland Security and Government Affairs Committee, also Robert Strayer and Molly Wilkinson. My request to Collins is that we get Collins and Lieberman and you to accompany us to the Oval Office to tell the president that this is a ticking time bomb, and if they will not, that he's got to designate you and Susan Collins and Lieberman to negotiate with Iran. And if he will not do so, we will go public about this in a way, because we've now determined without any doubt, I've got the proof, that Hillary Clinton's fingerprints are all over this policy. She has actually inherited the policy from the Bush administration and enlarged it. Hillary Clinton.
Oh, Hillary, yeah.
There were 3. What's that?
I'm going to the airport now to pick up Brian Ettinger, who's one of my partners. Brian is Joe Biden's closest friend, was his first staff director. Wait till I pick him up. I would ask you to call me back. Let me have a conference call with Brian in the car with you. I'm in my car, just myself, and I'll have Brian. He just called me, which means he landed. So I'll have him in the car in 15 minutes.
You want me to call you in 15 minutes, sir?
Call this number back, and you'll be with myself and Brian Ettinger.
Okay.
Ettinger is Biden's closest friend. He meets with Biden monthly. He was his first legislative director, and he's an attorney. More importantly, Brian is the unpaid chairman of the interagency organized crime task force for the U.S., which he does for Biden, which means he works with all of our agencies. And Biden sends him on secret missions, the most recent of which was to Pakistan, without the State Department involved. Now, you can't mention that while I have Brian on the phone, but I'm telling you that to give you an idea of who he is.
Yes, sir.
So call me back, and he just called, so he's probably getting off the plane now. Give me 15 minutes and then call back.
Very good. I will call you in 15 minutes, and also, sir, privately between us, if we can work out a cooperative agreement, I will share a significant percentage of the rewards for justice.
I've always said that. And you know, Alan, let me say this. You told my daughter it was about money. It's really never been about money. You know, I had my daughter's house invaded by the FBI. You've never had that done. They did that to my daughter that you talked to 2 weeks before my election, and they never talked to her. And that intimidation and that threat, I know they've talked to you, but you've never had that done publicly. That was done to me.
Yes.
My book will be out this year, which is being written by a U.S. attorney.
Yes.
23, who is Brian Ettinger's best friend, because he wants to bring out the truth, which is going to rock this country to its roots. So that's been my concern all along. The 5-year statute on being able to do anything against me ends this year.
I'm a big supporter of you, sir, and I never wanted to offend anybody, and forgive me for calling your daughter.
No, I thought you talked to her, but, you told her that it was about money. My daughter's house was raided by the FBI. That's what it's about.
I see.
It's about me not wanting my family abused.
I understand, yeah.
I never talked to her.
Yeah.
They raided her to create an incident to get me out of office.
Yes.
Partly because I was dealing with you. I don't know.
Well,
I know the CIA set me up because I know the names of the people in the agency from other friends. So it's not, obviously I can't work for free, but it's more about my stability and my security and my family's security. But let me have this call with Brian.
Yes.
It's now 11:35 Eastern Time.
Yes.
Call me back at 11:50 when I have him in the car.
I will call you at 11:50.
Thanks, Alan.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Kurt, it's Alan Perot.
I'm going to put you on the phone with myself and Brian Ettinger. I told you who Brian is. He's a good friend and a trusted partner of mine. He has access. He doesn't get paid. He does this as a favor for Biden with the interagency organized crime task force that works with our agencies.
Yes.
But he's also very close to Biden on a number of issues. He was his former staffer. I trust him with my life, and we're business partners. So I'm going to have you. I've told him about you. You don't have to go through all the background about who you are.
Okay.
But I want you to tell him the most recent situation, and then Brian and I are going to talk about it because we're going to have to New York together. So we'd like to put you on speakerphone now and introduce you.
Yes.
Alan, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Let me put the volume up. All right, you've got to speak loudly. This is Brian Ettinger. Yes, sir. How are you?
Very well, sir. How are you, Brian?
Good. Speak very loud, Alan, so we can hear you. We're in a car. Kurt told me about, I guess, the latest incident was with Governor Richardson, and he went through your background and who you are and the people that you previously contacted, and he indicated that you were going to try to get Susan Collins and Lieberman united together to go in and see to brief the president or the vice president about the situation.
You are correct.
And I understand you're into the preservation of falcons. I'm sure you do know most of the royal members of the royal family because that's what they hunt with, is falcons, as well as Ben Laden used to hunt with falcons.
Well, sir, I worked exclusively for President Sheikh Zayed, the late president of the United Arab Emirates. I lived with him and his family for 20 years. I also trained falcons for the Saudi crown prince before he became King Abdullah. Yes, falconry is the Rosetta Stone for Al-Qaeda. I met Victor Boot in Sheikh Zayed's falconry camps, and recently, between November 2004 and up until recently, my team members have met Osama bin Laden 6 times inside Iran. We have repeatedly notified the U.S. government and only received, first we were ignored, then we were obstructed, and then we were threatened.
That doesn't surprise me. There's a friend of mine who's an international hunter, and he hunts with falcons with the royal family of the UAE, and his name is Saeed Khan Karatra.
Yes.
I don't know if you know Saeed, but he takes them in the Himalayas to go this mountain goat. They go hunting with the royal family there.
Yes.
And he told me about a year ago that because he has a house also in Quetta, he told me that he knew recently that bin Laden was in northern Iran, and that he's an American citizen, and told people at the embassy, and they ignored him like the plague. I haven't told you this, but on my most recent trip to Kuwait, I was with my two closest friends there, Sheikh Mohammed, who's the Foreign Minister, Deputy Prime Minister, and former U.S. Ambassador, and Sheikh Saud, who was the ambassador during Desert Storm.
Yes.
And it was George Bush, the father's closest friend in the Middle East.
Yes.
And he's a very close friend of mine, and we were having a private dinner with his son Noah, who's another really close friend of mine. And we got to talking about Bin Laden. I said, Sheikh Saud, where do you think he is? He said, oh, Kurt. He said, there's no doubt, he's in Iran.
Yeah, I just told Kurt, I said, no, the better way of doing it, if Susan Collins and Lieberman are on board, I wouldn't go see Obama, I'd go see Biden.
And Brian can arrange that. Brian can arrange that directly, Alan.
Here's the problem, sir. We have identified with documentation 3 mechanisms used by the Bush administration to covertly engineer bin Laden's house arrest inside Iran. We have identified 2 mechanisms used by this administration to continue the legacy. And Hillary Clinton's fingerprints are all over this, and Leon Panetta's fingerprints are all over this. We will have tremendous opposition.
But yeah, because I told Kurt today, I said he is being protected by us.